And he was like, no, give me another chance. And I was like, no, my no was firm. My no was firm. I'm good.
Welcome to Dating Yapps, the podcast where we swap wild dating stories, share laughs, and serve up real talk experiences and advice. So let's get into it. Okay, hello and welcome back to another episode of Dating Yapps. I'm your host, Alex Daly, and today I have a hilarious and talented guest who you can find doing stand-up all over Philly. It is the very charming Shar Martin. Welcome to the pod, Shar.
Thank you, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, Shar. I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to dig into a little bit of your journey, your life, your dating, your comedy. And I definitely want to get some of your hot takes because I've seen your stand up. I know you have some opinions about things. So I want to talk about it.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So you're a comedy queen. I'm sure you have a lot of stories for us. But before we dive into it, I want to learn a little bit more about you, what you like, what you don't like. So we're going to play a little game of this or that to warm up. I'll give you some options. You tell me what you like, what you prefer, and tell me a little bit of why. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So going on a date, do you prefer a fancy dinner date or a dive bar?
Prefer a dive bar. And I'll tell you why. So I'm a divorcee, right? But I dated for like 20 years and I've done like the fancy dates, 5-star restaurant, amazing views, gifts, flowers. And I feel like you have to be poised and perfect. So dating, you're trying to get to know somebody, sidebar. I want to get to the real authentic you, sidebar.
I'm into
We can do
that.
fancy at some point.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. It's just like, let's just bare bones, have fun, see the real you as quickly as possible. I totally agree. And yes, divorcee over here as well, living that life.
Right. So we need as many of the masks off as possible as soon as possible. So
I
I
totally
feel like a
agree.
dive bar. I'm not gonna dress up. Like I'm just gonna show up. Right.
Yeah, be yourself.
Right. And it's all I feel like it's a lot lower investment in terms of like getting ready too, right? So you get to see what you see, right? Without the glam, without the poise, perfect. Thank you. For me, okay. Calamari, okay.
I'll
And an app. Yeah.
I agree. I'm on board with you there. Okay, next question. Do you like good morning text or late night talk?
Late night talks. Good morning texts annoy me a little bit. I mean, it's nice to know that you're thought of first thing in the morning, but I like substance. I like to connect. So I feel like talks are a better opportunity to connect and we get to share.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get too much out of me from a good morning text. You're going to say good morning. I'm going to say good morning. And that's it. I'm going about my day.
Yeah, I agree. Are you kind of like more of a night person, I would guess, being a comedian?
I am, but I'm also not. So I will fall asleep on you on the phone.
But no, I agree. I feel like sometimes when you get bombarded with texts in the morning, it's like kind of feels like another thing on your to-do list. You're like, I got to get back to them.
Right. And I've also heard that people pre-schedule them.
Oh,
I heard
like,
that that's a feature on some people's phones is that they can just schedule. So you mean to tell me you're saying good morning to me, Tasha, Nicole, and Mary? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Mm-mm.
yeah,
And
no.
I did go out I met this guy and I remember he sent me pictures of flowers. And I don't think I realized how much that annoyed me until I was like, bruh, just buy me flowers. Like, why are you sending me pictures of flowers? And his response was, everybody else seems to appreciate them. Boom, that's what I thought. Nah, miss me with that.
No, that's
So
crazy
go to
behavior.
Produce Junction, go to Trader Joe's, get a little bouquet, show up. A little bit more
Oh my
effort.
gosh.
He
That
tried it.
is that's wild behavior, but I mean, they weed themselves out.
They do. They do.
Okay, I'm with you. Next question, do you allow yourself to date other comedians or do you stick to the normies only?
I have not, but I will say that I would date a comedian, right? I think funny men are fun to be around. I have a huge crush on Tony Rock. So, I would absolutely date a comedian. Normies are cool. I mean, it's almost like you're dating people at work when you date a comedian too. So,
Mhm.
like the local flavor of comedians, I think you got to be careful. I do think you have to be careful because
Yeah.
everybody knows everybody, and you hear stuff, and I don't want to be a part of that. For real, for
Yeah.
real. Nope.
It's a small world, I'm guessing.
Yes, it is. You see the same people over and over again, and if you fall out, how do you navigate that? I prefer not to. And for a long time, I said that I would not date people that I worked with, but you have so much in common with the people that you work with. Just like with comedy, you have so much in common with people that are in the same spaces, on their path. So there's a lot that you could do together. But I think, in terms of, yes, I would date a comedian, like, it's still not like every comedian. It's still somebody that I would have to be compatible with.
Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
thoughtful approach from a silly person. No, I'm joking.
No, it's good to think about these things. I feel like it's like, would you want to date someone that you work with? Like, kind of a vibe. Also,
Exactly.
I don't know. I think about it from like when I was a ballet dancer and I did not like to date other dancers. First of all, you're just like with them too much, but like I didn't want to be criticized by my partner. Like I just wanted them to like show up and have a good time and tell me I looked pretty at a show versus like, you know what, you got to work on this.
Yeah, like I feel you, but my ex-husband is somebody that I worked with.
Okay.
And yeah, during the pandemic, it was a very short marriage, my bad. We were in this, we worked, we lived together, we worked together. We didn't necessarily work on the same teams, on the same projects, but there was a lot of time. I think that was one of the things that led to our demise. For sure, for sure. But I think when you are with somebody that's in the same space as you, it will challenge you on another level too, right? Because, hopefully they're thriving in that thing. And it's nothing like seeing like a man, or I guess depending on who you choose that whoever you choose to be with, seeing them thrive in excellence, doing their thing. I like that. I
Yeah,
do like
I
that.
do like that.
I'm like,
It is very, yeah,
he's so smart. He's so funny. All that.
it is attractive to see someone like doing well, doing their thing. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to ask you this one last question because I saw it in your stand up and I know you have a strong opinion about it. So, socks off in the bedroom, on or off?
Off. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Go get the pedicure. I'm not trying to hear. And yeah, hit dogs holler every time I do that joke. They talk about, oh, I got a bunion. Well, there are pedicures for that. Okay. My feet were cold. Nah, I need it for grip. Nah, take them socks off. Take them socks off. Take them off. I'm tired of it. You're completely vulnerable except for you got on these like nasty, like B2B, like gray that were once white socks. I'm tired of it. Take them off.
That's so funny. Well, I mean, like, I get cold though. Like, sometimes I want my feet to stay warm.
Oh, so you wear the socks too. Like there's even a certain in particular way that I get dressed. Like I put on my underwear first, then I put on my bra, and then I put on my pants, and then I think it's the same way when I disrobe and declothe. Like, why am I keeping the socks off? I take off my socks.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it's time to be vulnerable. Let's go.
That's fair. That's fair. You got to be vulnerable in dating.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is a great segue because I would love to know a little bit more about like where you are in your love life now. Are you single? Are you dating? Are you just like vibing on your own? What's your deal?
I am single, single. I am a divorcee as of 2023, and my baby is comedy. But I will say, being out with comedians and meeting comedians, I feel like I have a whole bunch of brothers, nephews, sisters. So I'm still learning people, right?
Mhm.
And I think that helps me with sort of discernment in dating. Because you see people and see how they move. So I'm not dating, but learning people.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think there is a lot to learn from dating and then also taking breaks from dating because it can get overwhelming and stuff too. It's like an interesting, I feel like almost can be a social experiment when you're going out on dates with people. You're like, let's see what happens if I don't fill the silence. Like, I love doing, like, little experiments like that on a date. It's a good learning experience.
Do I run experiments? Like, I'm trying to think. I typically don't. I typically just go with the flow
Yeah.
if I have something to share. Now, I will say that, like, chatting on the phone, like, if I feel like the conversation is dry, I let it be dry. I
Mhm.
don't take on the pressure of trying to make it exciting because I'm like, okay, this is who you are. You know what I'm saying? I navigate that. I guess if I pick something up, I try and confirm it, but I don't necessarily run the experiments per se like
Mhm.
that.
Okay. So you are single and thriving.
Yes.
Would love to know if there are any maybe stories from your past that stand out to you in your mind that are like funny or silly or like just different from the rest that you can share with us.
Man, so many. I think I've dated a slew of like people that were paranoid. So a
Mm.
lot of recording devices. Like, and I don't know how deep in the house or where all they're at, but I feel like there have been a number of recording devices. I definitely met a guy that had a bullet hole in his mattress. Listen, get out there. There is fun and ratchetry to be had. I was like, a bullet hole? How? What? I need
Is
I
that
was
fun?
no, it's crazy. Like,
Wait,
what? Let's see. I remember a long time ago, and this was the guy that took me like on this like five-star restaurant, amazing view, 360 view of Philadelphia, bought me like chocolates and whatever. And one of the dates we went on, we went to a concert. And at the concert, he was arguing back and forth on the phone with his brother. And I was like, oh no. I was like, this is supposed to be fun. And y'all are beefing. And he left his key, da 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 da. Now you're thinking about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do this again. I've had people that I've gone on dates with. Oh my gosh. There was this one guy, he had a boat. And
a boat?
he had a boat and he invited me and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good off of that.
Oh, are you saying a boat?
A
Like
boat, a whole
on the
boat
water.
on the water.
Nice.
And I was, yeah, no, no,
No?
no.
No? You're not going on a boat?
If something ends up, I don't know you that well, right?
Okay, it was like a first date.
No, it wasn't a first date, but if there, I don't know if there is enough dates for me to say yes to a boat. Like I have to know that you are stable because if you are not, I know my mouth. Okay. I don't need you to decide you don't like my mouth and then overboard I go. I swim. I don't swim
You
that good.
don't wanna wind up like Natalie Wood. No.
And was it Lacey Peterson too? With her
Oh,
own
yeah.
husband,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
then wait, then there's also Grace Petit, like camping.
Too many. Too many.
Too much ground to cover to look for where last seen. Like, nah, I'm good. It's certain things I don't want to do with, I don't even know if I want to do them with my husband, right? Let's, I mean, maybe over time, but
Yeah.
in terms of dating, those are like, I don't know, scary for me.
Yeah.
Like even the idea, the invitation, yeah, because that same guy, he knew where I worked, right? Like we had met up for like lunch dates and stuff like that. He had picked me up. We'd gone on lunch dates. Yeah, when I was like, "Hey, I'm good. Like it's nice meeting you. I'm not ready." You're like, if I said that, like I was cold in the office, the next time I saw him, he would show up with like a shawl, right? Very thoughtful. There was this particular like tinted foundation that I really liked. Bro went out and found all of them that he could possibly find. And I'm thinking, this is so sweet, but I felt like it was moving faster than I was ready to move. So I was like, I feel like he's investing, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
I gotta slow this down because I think the next step is, relationship for him. And I'm not sure that I'm there. And when I said, let's, he didn't take well to that at all.
What
Nah,
happened?
I blocked him, right? Because he didn't respond well. And one day I'm sitting in the office and I'm working with my team and my phone rings, he called me through the work number, like through the directory or whatever. And I was like, bruh, you know you're blocked and you call me at work? I'm
No,
good. I'm good.
that is creepy.
Right. So I don't know if that's as fun a story as maybe you wanted to hear, but
No, I mean, we'll take a cautionary tale for sure. And honestly, like if someone fumbles you, they should be upset. They should be upset. But they shouldn't be stalking you at work though. That's very creepy.
yeah, that was uncomfortable because boundaries. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, a no is a no. And
Mhm.
I guess it was something that I picked up on that was like, yeah, let's get away from this. Let's back off of this. But I communicated that and it still didn't make a difference. Yeah.
No, and if someone can't take a no or like can't take feedback, like that's a huge red flag, terrible sign.
Yes. Yes.
So, no, you deserve definitely better than that. Someone who's mature and can handle their shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're going 50-50 on that. Some of them have been, some of them not so much.
It is a little bit of a gamble when you're like going out on dates. You don't know what you're going to get.
It is, right? And even we have to be careful about turning down a date, saying no, I'm not interested, so on and so forth. It's a lot to manage.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a lot. Are there certain things that you look for in a partner or like when you are looking to date?
Yeah, talk to me nice. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that like I'm drawn to my comedian crush is when I hear him talk. It's like a well thought out approach, like really emotionally mature,
Yeah.
considerate, right? So I look for consideration, a thoughtfulness, even in how you interact with other people around us, right? If we go out, I do look for charisma, right? Some level of energy. If you dry, like get out of here, bro.
Yeah. No, you can't be with someone dry. You're a comedian. Like you
Right.
need
Like you gotta,
someone who has
it's got I
energy.
do it does have to be fun. I think we that is absolutely something that I have to enjoy spending time with you. I love when a man sort of babies me a bit too.
Hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
what it is about that other than like I was a single mom. Like I have an adult son, right? So I was a single mom for like a good period of time and to not have to be out front in charge, and to be babied a little bit is also nice. And so, like the little pet names, they warm my little heart, my little
Yeah.
Grinchy heart. It does warm me. Let me see what else do I look for. Somebody that's got range, you know, like you can go into like a corporate or fancy setting, but you can also really be laid back.
Yeah. You need
So
depth.
depth, depth and range. So those are some of the things. What do you look for?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of those same things. I think you hit on like emotional maturity is like so huge. And it is like not easy to come by, I have to say. So anybody that's like willing to be introspective, like somebody who works on themselves. I love people who are like willing to go to therapy, work on their shit, like not afraid to have the tougher conversations.
Yeah. And I
Um, th-
think in some of the first dates, if you're not asking any questions about me, I don't really think that you're authentically interested in me. Like
mhm.
there's a way that a man or just people in general, right, can show up where they're not really trying to learn about you. And to me, that suggests that they have their own interests. And to me, if you're not really interested in getting to know me, then I'll get off of that too.
Yeah, no. If they're just like waiting for their turn to talk. Have you ever been on a date with a man where they talk almost the entire time and you say like barely anything and then at the end they're like, "Well, I had a great time." And you're like, "Well, I'm sure you did."
Yes. Yes. And that takes me back. Now we're going back a pretty good ways. But yeah, I was in my 20s. I was living in Arizona. I just moved out to Arizona, and this guy was talking and talking and talking. He talked so much. He was talking about his last girlfriend, and I was like, see,
On the first date.
first
That's
date. And when he, reached out for the second date, I was like, no, this is not a good first date. And he was like, well, why?
Yeah.
And you one, you talked about your ex, so that suggests to me that she's still at the forefront, and I'm good. And he was like, no, give me another chance. And I was like, no, my no was firm. My no was firm. I'm good. I was like,
I love that. I
We're
love that
going
response.
back a long, and I remember that he did not. I don't like also, I don't really like to have to explain myself. Like if I say no, you know what I'm saying? Don't try and talk me out of my no either. Right? So,
No. My
uh,
no is firm. I'm gonna start using that. I love that.
my no is no in multiple languages as well. Like, come on, you hear me?
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like I don't you now, and that's the other thing with dating. If you like, I share, but I don't want to give too much so that you become what you know I want.
Mm,
Right? I need you to be authentic.
yeah.
Right?
Because that's the only way it's gonna work.
Right. Because if you just try and hit or whatever the case is, and I give you the cheat code, you become that cheat code. You know? I don't
Yeah,
want that
yeah.
either. That's weird. That's weird to me. But
No, I see what
they
you're
do it.
saying.
They do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I agree. But yes, and I also agree with you about like to be a little bit baby, like to be a little bit spoiled. And it's just like, of course it makes sense, especially with you as a mom. Like if you're spending all this time taking care of someone else, it's like nice to let someone else take care of you for a change, you
Exactly.
know? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. But I like to as well, right? Also be thoughtful. Like I'm thinking about you too. If I'm really into you, like I'm thinking about you too. Like, oh,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
if I'm out and I see something that you might like, it might be something small, but like, you know, it's
No, I think
reciprocal
it's
kind of
so
thing.
true. If yes, exactly. If somebody is taking good care of you, you will naturally also want to like
Exactly.
be reciprocal about it for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep.
Okay, so I am so curious to learn how being a comedian maybe affects you in your dating life.
How
Tell
it
me
affects
more.
me in which way?
Like, do you feel like it makes dating harder? Do you like what kind of reactions do you get from people if you go out on a date and you're like, "Oh, I'm a stand-up comic."
Well, because I'm not like really, really dating right now, and I've been doing comedy for I guess a little over a year. So I don't really have to say anything. And I mean, it's not what I do full time, so I have an option on what I share. Like I can tell them what I do like for work. But yeah, around my family for sure, that every time there's like a little giggle or a laugh, oh, you're trying to be funny. Nah, get out of here. Like first of all, my family's a riot, as it were,
Right.
but I don't insert that. And I will say, because I started off as a quality engineer, and like even with like talking to people, people can sometimes like, well, what is that? And I would
Uh-huh.
say if you ask me and I don't want to say I'm a quality, I'll say I'm a librarian. And then
That's
nobody
right.
asks you what a librarian does. It's
That's so
like
true.
Dewey Decimal System card catalog. I pull out my glasses, I put those on, and I do that. And they know I'm lying. They know I'm lying, but I've done that in the past. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You don't have to tell everyone everything. I also think that like talking about work is like not very interesting on a date usually, except comedy is interesting. So like that is interesting to talk about.
It is interesting to talk about, but I don't necessarily want it to be a dominant part of the conversation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I want to touch
That's
on it and
fair.
move on. Because then people start like, well, is this about to be a bit?
Right. Yeah.
They start to think that I'm using them for comedy or that, stuff like that. That's
So
just come
you
up like in
don't
general conversation.
so you don't put people that you date or dates that you go on in any of your comedy.
I've mentioned some things.
Yeah. The
I've mentioned,
socks.
I
The
don't say
socks.
names. I've mentioned some things, but would I qualify them as dates? And some stuff, you can take from your past. Some of the
Mhm.
stuff was like before I became a comedian. It's still funny,
Yeah.
right? And it's still funny to share, and it's really relatable to other people.
Yeah, so it's like past the statute of limitations. You're like, "That's old, that's fair game."
I never thought about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yes, had they known, I would have started doing comedy. They should have treaded lightly, yes, for sure. Because if you could hear it again, there might be some people that listen. That was me, because I'm still friends with people that I've dated and exes and stuff in the past. So they're
Yeah.
like, "Snap, he didn't forget." No, I didn't, and I think it's funny.
And other people do too.
Right, right. Like bullet hole mattress. He knows who he is. He knows who he is.
I'm sure. I'm sure he does. So do you find that people get intimidated when you tell them that you do comedy? No.
No, they think it's fun. They think it's fun.
Are they
They
like,
don't.
tell me a joke right now?
Outside of the dating thing, yeah, and it doesn't work that way. It
No,
doesn't work
totally.
that way. I think comedy is an extension of what is already funny in life experiences,
Mhm.
right? So I don't aspire to be intimidating, right? I aspire to connect and aspire to be relatable. And I just want to live. I think a lot of comedy really does. And there was a conversation that some comedians and I were having the other day, and we were talking about, like, how people trying to go to New York and, all that. And I was like, yeah, I also want enough money to live, right? So because living to me in those experiences bring about comedy itself. But if I'm broke living in New York, and also I don't want roommates, so
Hmm.
then right. So
Yeah.
comedy comes from living. Comedy does just come from, you know, going to work at times, hanging around with family. Like right now, I'm surrounded by nieces and nephews that are 10 and under, and my son is 25, right? It's funny to watch my sister and brother struggle in parenthood.
There's a lot of material there.
I ain't gotta participate in that at all.
That is so funny. No, I remember when I saw you in one of your sets and you said that you had a 25-year-old son, the audience literally gasped. They were like, "No, you don't." They were like, "There's no way."
Let me get close. It's gray all around the perimeter of what's going. I mean, it seems so long ago, but yeah, my son turns 26 this year. And
Oh.
yeah, I'm grown. I'm like grown. Like my siblings and I are all, it's three of us, we're all in our 40s. So, and I
Yeah.
did I did have him I did have him in college, so.
Well, you look amazing, and I also feel like at that same show, I then, like, bumped into you at the bar, and there was a young man there who seemed like he was trying to hit on you, who was probably your son's age.
So here's the thing. I remember that, and I wasn't sure, but I tried to. First of all, I don't think that younger guys, and I call them the young bulls, I don't think that they care. But I try to make it very clear that you're my son's age. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I can't,
That's too
you know,
weird.
and I'd be like, come on, girl, we'll take you places. Where? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are you going to put me in the basket on your tricycle? And what are we going to do? You're gonna pedal away? Like, wherever you're trying to take me, I've probably already been there, right? And at this big age, in this
Yeah.
many years of life, I've done so much. But I think it's cute. I'm flattered. Um,
Yeah.
but realistically, for me, no. I mean, my ex-husband was almost 10 years younger, you know.
Okay.
I can't go any younger than that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's so fair. I think a 10-year rule is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he just about hit that, and no, no. It would have to be some kind of extraordinary circumstances,
Yeah,
right, for me to even consider going younger, like
that's
that,
fair.
right?
You need someone grown.
Exactly. I mean, someone that's established, someone that can that's another thing I like, somebody that can teach me something. I find that very attractive, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I've never done like, I never heard that before. I never did that before. I've never Oh, okay, sweet. I like that. I like that.
No, that's great. And then it expands your world and then you have more experiences. We love
Right,
that.
right. So, I mean, I guess there's an angle for which a younger person could do that, but typically not so much. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're okay with younger, but not as young as your son. And that's
Absolutely not. No. Mm-mm. He
so
would throw up
funny.
too. He would throw up too.
Yeah.
I know people do it, especially like men who get younger
Especially
wives
men.
and
That's what
things
I was
like
gonna say.
yeah, but for me, yeah, no. I can't even think of the extraordinary circumstances under which that would be permissible in my head. So yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a hard one to get past.
Right. Do you
But
have any like
it's
framework?
a nice little ego boost though, I think, for you, like, to have these, like, young guys coming up to you at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. And I've even had I had a neighbor years ago. He was in his 80s and I was in my 30s. I remember one day I came home to a letter in the mail and he told me the ball was in my court. Sir, you can barely walk. I was so offended. Not an ego boost at all. And, like my dad was like, you shouldn't be offended. And I'm like, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's like, I feel like men should also want to add something to a woman's life.
Mhm.
Like, be like, you have to be at a certain place and da 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 to act. Like, I don't want to be your nurse. It gave, it
Oh, no.
gave, it gave. You already lived for your prime, sir. You're 80. Why don't you get somebody in their 70s? Blah blah blah. But I'm still living out here.
That is so funny. Ball is in your court. Did you respond?
My front porch and looked across the street. Like, yo, I know you see me coming in the house. You know I got this letter. Nah. Like, I'm not, nah, it's not even worth a response. But it came in the mail, addressed to me, my address, stamp, everything, envelope. And I was like, that boy is crazy.
Well, I mean, I guess he made
He's
his
dead
move.
now. He's
Yeah.
dead. If I'd
Oh,
have thought
well,
this through,
RIP. RIP.
could have had a house. But no.
Oh my gosh. Could have just
No,
stuck it out for a couple of years.
if I'd have just held on. But no, I wasn't thinking about like when I think about dating, when I think about a partner, I think about somebody that we can live life together. You know what I'm saying? We could do things
Totally.
together.
Absolutely.
hmm Like, and even my dad, like my dad is single, right? He's been married, divorced. He's in his 70s, and when he retired, it was like he was dating like women that were like taking care of their grandkids and still had like part-time jobs. And I was like, Dad, you can get up and go whenever you want. And I know you want to spend time with somebody. Get somebody who, is in that same season of life with you. And so, sometimes I don't take my own advice, but I believe that that was good advice.
Aw. Yeah. That's good advice for your dad. Did he take it?
No, my dad does what he wants.
Yeah.
I think he did at some point, but I think he goes by what he goes by.
Well, do you have any advice to give? Like, what is your best piece of dating or
Oh,
relationship
hold
advice?
on. I made a list about this one.
Oh, yeah, please.
For sure. And my
Love to hear it.
please advice. The purpose of dating is really to learn about someone else. So keep that in mind. Like if your partner sleeps with his knees tucked under him and his butt up in the air, like these are things you want to know about. If you got a bullet hole in your mattress, like we need to know about that. Like, what are your quirks? Things like that. What are my quirks? Right? It's a data collection, just like you said, learning about one another. You want to see that person in every season.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You need to see that person angry. If you have not seen that person angry, you don't know that person.
That's true.
For sure. That I have learned from the dating all the way through commitment to and the other thing is because no growing up nobody really talked about dating. Like I grew up in the church, so nobody told you how you get to marriage, just that it was the goal, right?
Mhm.
And I think don't commit too quick, right? I like a competitive if I had like I don't want to just date one person because then I'm focused in on that one person. I'd rather
Mhm.
have a slate of
Yeah.
people and then I can say, okay, I do like this, I don't like that. Or because you get too focused in on one person,
Yeah.
then you focus in on that person and sometimes you lose sight of just what the
I'm totally with you there. I think it, like, balances things out when you can, like, have a few irons in the fire.
and I mean it sounds bad, I think they hate it. They hate being on the other end of that. But if it goes down, if you do get out of that dating and you get to commitment or whatever it is that you're looking for, right? Then it's that much sweeter.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than we were dating and okay, it was convenient and it got comfortable
Yeah.
and we're here, rather than no, you were like you're special and you know.
Yeah, no, I think those are great points. Especially, I feel like both of us having been divorced, not rushing into something is so key. And knowing someone for like every season so that you get to see them as they truly are, get to know them. You have to go through some shit too. Like, I don't think you should like move in with someone, get married to someone unless you've already been through some shit together and you liked how that person handled
I
it.
needed you a few years ago, Alex. I needed to hear that a few years ago. But yes, time in dating has always been my friend. And I don't think that I've always acknowledged that.
Mhm.
But time is always your friend. Don't rush into anything.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're so much wiser after you get married and get divorced. You're like, I know so many more
Girl,
things.
girl. I look back. I should have, you know what I'm saying? For like
Yeah.
my own reasons and where I was in life. I do look back on that and I say, why did I stay? You know what I'm saying? Like what was I doing? Yeah, I own that too. I own that too.
Yeah. No, it's like so true that you do get comfortable, but it's not worth it if you're just in it because it's like comfortable.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think for me, I think it got comfortable quick. Um, and then there were the red flags, very obvious red flags. And I was like, I think just fix it.
Yeah.
And it should have been like no, this isn't mine to own. This is not my stuff, right? So why do I feel like I have to, right? And if I were dating multiple people, right, that probably would have been a calibration to say I don't have to deal with that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But yeah, it's the wisdom that comes from being a divorcee,
Yes. It's so
right?
real. It's so real.
Girl, I look back and I say I should have exited. Okay, all right. And yeah, we like never had any like arguments up front. I
Mhm.
was entirely being love bombed. And I think
Mm.
that goes to in part why I'm where I'm at in dating now, right? Because how authentic, even if somebody's like me and uber sweet, I've seen somebody be like uber sweet. And I said yes and walked down the aisle with them, but then the layers started coming off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've seen something online before that was like, man, the like first 3 months of a man's personality is so fire. And then somebody goes, yeah, the free trial.
Yeah. The first thing, I mean, it's supposed to, I don't know if it's supposed to be perfect or whatever, but yeah, it's not really. And then you look at who they are over time and it's like, okay, all right, I think this is more close to who you actually are,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But now, we live and we learn. So you are so much wiser now. So I appreciate you sharing some of your advice.
Thank you. It's good that
Yeah.
we share some of right the wisdom that comes from that.
Oh, like every woman I know that's been through a divorce has their shit together. Like they know what they want, they know what they don't want. No more time for bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I don't like I just want to know who you are for real, for real. Like and then but it takes a while to get to who that is, right? And I wonder if they experience that on the same with us. I don't know. I don't know if they do it intentionally or it's just like, "Hey, I want you to like me." Right? So I know, right? But no, don't want me to like you. Just be yourself. I'll let you know if I like you. I'll know really quickly. And there's nothing wrong with not being liked. If we're not compatible, time is our
Fun.
friend, but you know, it's okay to not be liked and to make a choice to be who you are. Like for sure.
I feel like that's another lesson that you have to learn later on in life too, is that it is okay to not be liked by everyone. You're not for everyone.
I am
Yeah.
not, and you are not,
Yeah.
and exactly, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I wanna find my tribe, you know what I'm saying? Let's not pretend.
Totally. Shar, this has been so fun. Love all of your advice. I love your energy. You're such a bright light. Where can people find you? What's your Instagram page so we can follow you?
Hey, Shar, hey.
Hey,
Hey,
Shar. Hey.
Hey, Sharhey.
Love it. Well, you are so fun. Your shows are so fun. I can't wait to go to the next one. So I appreciate you coming on and yapping with me today. This was a blast.
I appreciate you, Alex. This is like
Yay.
my
And
first podcast, so I was like, "Ooh, let's see. Let's see how this
it's
goes."
so fun. So fun. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow along. Maybe leave us a little review if you're feeling kind, and come back next time for more Dating Yaps. So we will talk to you later, friends. Yay.